This is the all-new 2019 Lexus ES. Now the ES is a mid-size sedan, and as its size will give it away, it is related to the Toyota Camry and the Avalon. All of them are on the new Toyota Global Architecture. However, this one is definitely the sportiest of the three. Look at those lines. We have these crazy corners and all in the headlights here. I mean, look at all the detail here. And then this spindle nose actually looks decent for a change. On some of the bigger vehicles like the RX or even the LX, it just looks a little ridiculous. But here, I think it's spot on. And then they carry that swoopiness all the way down the belt line. And the belt line's a good height. So many car manufacturers are raising the belt line so you feel cocooned inside. This one, I think, keeps it reasonable while still keeping a sporty look to the overall silhouette. Perhaps one of the most exciting things about the all-new ES is that you can finally get it in an F Sport variant. That one comes with 19-inch wheels, sport-tuned suspension, and a V6 with 305 horsepower. But we're not driving that today. Today we have the hybrid. And this isn't bad. Honestly, it's really not bad. What you're looking at is a 4-cylinder that has 2.5 liters. It does, of course, have direct injection and Atkinson cycle, for those who know what that is. And combined with the electric motors, you're looking at a total output of 215 horsepower. But the best thing, this is the most efficient hybrid luxury sedan you can buy. It is up to 46 miles to the gallon on the highway and 44 around town, which is pretty good. And the new ES isn't just efficient, it's also very practical. The trunk is large. It'll store up to 16.7 cubic feet of stuff. One downside, however, those seats don't fold down. The most you can get for a pass-through is about this big. So, you know, it's good for like skis or for something long and narrow, but if you actually have something really big you need to stick in there, you'll need a different vehicle. In the trunk, you also get a full-size spare right down there. Oh, and check this out. Power lift gate. Now, the second row. The second row is very spacious. I get plenty of room for my legs. I get a little flip out thing here. I get a 120 watt power socket and two 2.1 amp USBs. My own vents. I have a cup holder here. Check it out. If you have very narrow, very long objects, that's what you get. And I get seating that is normally reserved for the premium seats. Now I am 6'1", my head fits, albeit barely. It does feel a little claustrophobic because of this large piece of material right here. A larger panorama sunroof would be kind of nice, but I see it. They usually reserve those for the SUVs. Overall, quite a nice experience in here. And I really like actually the color scheme. This brown on brown looks really nice. When I recently reviewed the new Toyota Camry, I was kind of wondering, how could they make that interior better? Well, the answer to that is right here. This ES interior is really quite pretty. It has metal inserts and all different kinds of shades of, well, brown. Let's go ahead and power it up. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. Even though there's two displays, they make them look like they're connected with the graphics. Front and center, you can tell this is a hybrid because instead of a normal tach and speedo, you get a digital speedo with a power eco charge gauge. Now, if I twist this knob, it changes all red and white and looks all sporty, but you know, we know it's still a hybrid. This isn't a performance vehicle. Of course, we also have an eco setting if we want to make our not so fast vehicle even not so faster. I think I will drive it on normal mode until we hit the canyon roads a little bit later. Overall, it is a really pretty interior. We have these nice materials. That could probably be a little bit better. But I really like the way that they have the texture in the plastic here. So many modern cars have just flat gloss plastic, like piano black. It's like the go-to for luxury. The problem with piano black is A, it scratches horribly. Also, when the sun hits it at the right angle, it's right in your face. So I really like the fact that they did not go with piano black. They went with a nice kind of alternative there. Also, check this out, little OLED. Those are so cool. The way the numbers kind of click, 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 like they're almost a mechanical object is really nifty. Down here, we of course have more buttons. These seats are both heated and ventilated, which is nice. And they are really comfortable seats. They have the little pores in them so that the air can flow through when ventilated, and they're very supportive, very comfortable. I mean, you would have no doubt that you're in a luxury car here. This doesn't feel like they just took a Camry and, put a new badge on it. It actually feels very luxurious. And they really concentrated on the touch points here. The leather around the steering wheel, that little wood inset, leather on the gear shifter here, even leather on the elbow rest, which has its own fun party trick in that it opens both sides. I'm not really sure how they did that. Now, in the past, I've really bagged on their nav system, and I hate to say it, they really haven't made any improvements with the touchpad. I still don't like the touchpad, but there is something I really, really do like about this system now. Let's get my USB cable, plug it in, wait for it, wait for it. Come on. Yes, Apple CarPlay. And at first I was a little suspicious as to how good of a job they would implement CarPlay. Yet here, this has to be one of my favorite CarPlay implementations because they use the big 12.7-inch screen and they really use the real estate. And the display is actually really, it's really nice. I had no idea the display was this good because typically it runs such out-of-date graphics on the traditional Toyota system. With CarPlay, it's like it's a whole new system. Unfortunately, they don't yet support Android Auto. But here, we can use maps, navigation, and of course, the newest version of CarPlay also supports not only Google Maps, it also supports Waze. So, I mean, really, I have no more complaints about the Toyota nav system because I'm just going to use Apple CarPlay. The standard nav system also does have some stuff going for it. I mean, it has built-in maps, so if you're off-grid, you can still find where you're going. It also has apps. It is saying that CarPlay is enabled, so we can't do those, yada, yada, yada. And if you really want to, you can also see your climate controls up there. Although they're just duplicated in buttons here, I don't really know why people would do that other than it looks pretty. Now, because this is a widescreen, we can set it up with a dual display where we say have the energy monitor on the right, which shows me my engine, battery, and power distribution, because of course this is a hybrid. Or I can show my musical selection. Audio is currently off. Or I can put a map up there. I wonder if I can do a map and CarPlay at the same time. Probably not. I think CarPlay only goes full screen. Yeah, that's fine. Because honestly, CarPlay is so much better than their built-in system. It just is. Even though this isn't the F Sport version, it does come with paddle shifters. I also get a Sport and Eco dial up here and another dial up here. They honestly, they kind of remind me of Frankenstein with the bolts in the neck. But we have these two things up here. I can turn traction control off on the left and Sport, Normal, and Eco settings on the right. And because this is loaded with the latest in safety tech, I get blind spot warning, and on the steering wheel, I can adjust for lane detection as well as adaptive cruise control, and of course, it also has collision mitigation. So, it also has an EV mode, but because this system uses nickel metal hydride batteries, not lithium ion, the overall capacity is actually very small. So it's really a hybrid system designed for economy, not for range. So EV mode, yeah, it's only going to be available for around parking lots. I think that's kind of a very useless button actually on this car. Lexus says not everybody wants sport-tuned suspension or sport-tuned handling. I can understand that. This is the hybrid. This is for people who daily drive in the city, occasionally might want to take it onto a country road. They're not looking for peak performance. So I'm not going to judge this based on that metric. If this was an F-Sport, sure, but that has different suspension settings. I still want to take it out to a canyon road, however, because that's where we'll really see how well this vehicle can handle. So the main design idea of this car is to make a luxury car that you can drive every day. Something that is practical and actually relatively affordable for, an up-and-comer middle manager or something like that aspires to do better. Price as you see it here, the vehicle is about $50,000, but you can get into an ES300 non-hybrid starting at around $39,000, which really isn't bad. Even at the entry-level price, you still get a vehicle that has a really nice interior, good handling dynamics, and an engine that is not horrible. Under the hood is a hybrid powertrain that combines a 2.5-liter inline four-cylinder with a pair of electric motors. And it is all connected to the front wheels through a constantly variable transmission. That means you get peak efficiency, yet you don't necessarily get peak performance. This vehicle is not about performance, but even though it's not all about performance, it doesn't mean that it shouldn't be able to perform well. The CVT does a good job of putting it down to the front wheels, and it doesn't feel like there's any excessive weight. Body roll is very well controlled, and damping, well, it's what you expect in a luxury car. It covers those really harsh edges of the road, but without ever becoming jarring or too firm. Now, there are several drive modes in this vehicle. First off, we have Normal, which gives me the gauge in the middle that has eco, power, and charge levels. I go up to Sport and everything turns red, and I get my tack and I can use my paddle shifters, even though it's a CVT, so paddle shifters are kind of pointless, but I have them as an option now. In simulated mode, it shifts very quickly, usually. Makes nice noises. That traction control is a little aggressive. Even though you wouldn't buy this as a sports car, it has a surprisingly sporty feel, in spite of the fact that, they didn't tune this suspension for sporty driving. It's for everyday luxury driving, and it still does pretty good. I mean, granted, the steering feel could be a little firmer and the turn-in could be a little crisper, but all things considered, I'm actually really liking this vehicle. Very much like the new Toyota Camry surprises me with how good of a car it is, so too is this ES hybrid. I mean, it's actually a fun car to drive. Yeah, I said that. Actually, there's very little body push. Just like the new Camry has gotten better, so too has the new ES. This new chassis is fantastic. I'm feeling very little body flex. The roll is well controlled. Of course, this vehicle also has torque vectoring to help me corner better. Oh, dude, this road is amazing. I have to give it up to Southern California. There are some fantastic roads here, and this has to be one of my favorites. Pretty much all modern hybrids use a regenerative braking system. What that means is that when I put the brakes on, it engages generators that put power back into batteries. Now, the downside of that is that very often the brake pedal feel will be numb or weird. Not so with this vehicle. The feel is like a normal set of brakes, which is as high of a compliment as you can give to a regenerative system. I'm feeling like I'm just going for a daily cruise on a road with 100 turns. That's all. The weight transition is particularly pleasing in this vehicle. Yeah, it's a little bit on the soft side, but for what they're trying to accomplish with this car, they've done a remarkable job, I think. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to catch all our videos right here, and also be sure to subscribe. We have a lot of great videos coming, and you won't want to miss them.